Hello everyone, Steve here from Tech Toy Tinker and Retro Arena. I wanted to take a few minutes today to show you guys some of the new stuff that I've been doing with the Ayn Odin. I also wanted to give a shout out to Thor and TJ for all the work that they've put into this device so far. As you can see here, I'm on the stock Android. I am rooted with Magisk 25. And because of having Magisk, as I showed in the previous video, I've been able to install Viper and Gravity Box and several things along that line. All the Android games work fine. The majority of emulation does too. I mean, PS2 and 3DS are kind of hit and miss, but the majority of things on this are working pretty well. And as you can see here, I've got the Pixel launcher with the Google Live backgrounds, and I've also got the Google Assistant and text-to-speech enabled and all that other good stuff. I've also installed a module that allows me to download things like the Sony Music Player, Samsung Internet Browser, and device proprietary applications from the Play Store. However, what I want to show you guys, it ties in with what I'm going to be doing next here. This is actually a dual boot. So half of my emmc is Android 10, and the other half of my emmc is Windows 11. Now, Windows 11 ARM, it does work alright, but it has some strange quirks to it, which I'll discuss a little bit. So, after you set up your dual boot, you need to hold power and volume up at the same time until you see the Project Valhalla there. And then at that point, that's when you can let go and boot Windows. It does take a moment to boot up. One of the main downsides that I've found with Windows is whenever you launch an application, because it's got like almost an emulation layer sometimes for running the x86 on ARM. So what happens is when you launch something, it might take a moment, like you have to wait 20 seconds for it to open up and start running, but then it runs fine. Oh, time to enter my PIN. Excuse me for a moment. So as you can see here we are inside of Windows. I don't necessarily need to show you every single game because I know that that's been done in other videos, and it's not a secret that you can boot Windows on this. But what I've been doing is working on the Retroarch and emulation and whatnot that I've got set up for Windows on this device. N64 and Dreamcast aren't working that great yet, but the majority of the other stuff does. It does take a minute to load, as I said. Just going to give you guys a quick example here. Once it loads up. I pressed the wrong button. This button is to load, this is to go back. AB. Anyway. Don't push the wrong button like me. So after the initial few seconds where it loads up, you can see we got the videos, just like every other Windows build. Saturn's also not working that great yet. Majority of the easier to run stuff works just fine. Start and select exit the game. L3, R3 open the Retroarch menu. And now you're going to see what I mean by it takes a minute to open something. I'm sure you've seen it from playing Windows games too, but the same is true when you're launching Retroarch and things of that nature. It just takes a minute to run it. Not a literal minute, but maybe 10, 15 seconds. I have no idea why. I'm assuming it's because of the fact that it has to emulate it. As you can see, though, it works fine. I still have a lot of work to do as well. There's a few systems that aren't working very well, such as, like I said, the newer stuff like Dreamcast and 64. N64 works okay with standalone Project 64, but it doesn't work very well through Retroarch currently. I can just use Project 64, so I might look at that as an alternative. And Saturn needs some work as well. Redream runs really poorly on this at the moment, on ARM Windows. And as I said, RetroArch just takes its time, and so do other applications. This is just watching a movie, showing you guys that it does work, despite taking a minute to load up. I'm not going to play it for very long because I don't want the copyright crap, but as you can see, it does work. Also, you can launch your Windows games directly through Emulationstation here, so it can be your front end for your Steam games, your Windows games, and your 32-bit and below emulation all in one place. And then you basically just turn it off or on and restart, either or, and you hop back over to Android when you want to do Android games, PSP, Dreamcast, Saturn, in a nutshell. I'm going to try and see what I can do about speeding up the slow launch time of things. Because despite the fact that it does work fine, it's kind of irritating. So as you can see, you can load up your PC games from here too. This kind of works. I'm still testing it out, so I can't say whether it does or not for certain yet. 32X and 3DO work fine. I'll show you a 3DO game quick before I wrap up the video. I don't want it to get to be too long. Under 10 minutes is usually my goal. So basically I need to clean up ES a little bit more, separate the rest of the things that don't work and get them out of there. Fix them when possible. And then I'll be releasing kind of a Windows Emulationstation build for Windows on ARM. Then I'll be focusing on Linux for a while.
Sit anywhere. Headquarters to Quasar. The Renegade Prime.
You get the idea. So anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Just wanted to keep you guys up to speed with what it is that I've been working on and what I have coming. Sort of recorded this video on the fly. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.